Whoa! We got everybody.
Yeah, dude. What's that?
What a lovely surprise. This is fantastic.
You're welcome. We miss you so much.
Boys. I tell you, did I tell you that I pitched our idea of me coming to the farm to like my vice president of the company and he is all in?
Yes.
1000%. I've been waiting for you to come down here for like 3 years now. Let's get it.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of this pandemic we're in, but it made it all a little bit hard.
It's true.
There's been a little talk, but
Minor details.
There's been a thing. But so what's going to happen is you guys are going to be the first episode of our hometown series that we're going to launch on this YouTube page. And it's going to be so much fun.
yes. Awesome. We're excited.
Just understand that I'm an indoor cat and I don't do a lot of outside work and I'm quite lazy and just know all of these things, okay?
Perfect. All noted. Yeah. That's gonna make a way more exciting video, let me tell you.
Hey, I'm gonna pump my own tires for a second. Ty, how many views does this sea shanty have at this point? I know you guys know.
Well, like if you took the two of them together and put them together,
Well, 7.5 to 8 on Facebook, and
probably it's probably like over 12 or 13 million by this.
Now, who messaged you and said you guys should do a sea shanty?
Gregg Reynolds! Gregg Reynolds direct messaged me, and I quote, If the Hunter brothers do a sea shanty, it will make my life.
And it did.
It took me a moment to process that. Yes. Thank you. Hats off, my friend.
How did that whole idea come together? So you go to the boys, you're like, this idiot has an idea. These things are blowing up. And how does that all come together? Because it was so perfect. It like, out of everything I ever could have imagined, you guys doing a sea shanty, that was 100 times better.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
You literally were part of that first conversation.
You
just
were.
so you know.
yeah, you actually came in.
So basically what happened is you direct messaged me. There was some chatter about it, and we had put it into our social plan for like, what was I talking about it for like 2 to 3 weeks or something. I said to the guys, we need to do this sea shanty, and we had a bunch of other things just kind of kept coming up and whatnot. And all of a sudden I was sitting in front of my fireplace at home, and it was a download, Greg, where it was like the lyrics just came down to like a little antenna, and they went right into like a lyric, and I said, hey guys, okay, got this lyric. And the other thing is those were the nights happens to work perfectly for a sea shanty. So I was like, let's actually do them both. And then in true Hunter Brothers fashion, everybody just started contributing ideas. There was a massive antique barrel in my parents' place, in their living room of all places. They have 2 of them, and they are using them as end tables. And so I grabbed it and I said, hey guys, can you grab that barrel? Dusty, would you mind playing this? And I've never seen anybody play a barrel better than Dusty in my life.
Okay, I have to say, I know everybody loved the song. They loved the giant tractor that comes in. My favorite part, as somebody who's always wanted drums, was the barrel. The barrel was so cool.
Well, hey, why don't we do a recreation when you come down to the farm, and we could do like a double barrel or something? Because
I have no rhythm. I have I can't.
Doesn't matter, Greg. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because here I am in front of my stupid radio desk, and I'm watching it, and I'm doing the, and I'm like along with.
What you talking about? You don't have any rhythm. That was perfect. That was better than Dusty.
You watch out.
At what point did you know it was gonna blow up like that? Was it you posted and an hour later the views are going up crazy, or when did you know that it was gonna go kaboom?
I kid you not. I was actually talking with Trevor, our social media rep, and we're like, okay, so should we put it out today, tomorrow? We were discussing. I was like, no, let's put it out today. And we had no idea. We had no idea like what it was gonna do, you know. And I got home. I drove home. I kid you not, and I needed to. I had some sort of commitment that was going on that night, and I looked at my phone, and there were 900 and some people watching at that moment. And I all of a sudden realized, I'm like, I think this might move rather quickly. And then within about an hour, a couple hours, it started jumping over I think it got close to the 1 million mark. And sure enough,
That's crazy.
and it's still circulating. We still, like, there's messages just constantly coming in about it. So
What's the guy's name? Trevor? Trevor's your social guy's name?
yeah. He's awesome.
Tell him to send me like $100.
Yeah, you got it. We're gonna send you a Sea Shanty merchandise package. Like, don't you worry. We'll take
a little boat.
We'll take.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
New.
Now, the other thing that started going a little bit viral was your guys' acapella cover of Dan and Shay's "Glad You Exist." Yeah, why that song?
We just like Dan and Shay.
Yeah.
I
think it was, they were releasing a new track on the Friday, and it was you, Brock, right?
Yeah, so they put a post out about that they were releasing new music, and then they had sent a little clip of it, and so I sent it on the Hunter Brothers chat there and said, hey, Dan and Shay are releasing a new song, and they hadn't even released it yet, and they did a little vocal thing. And so then we just all got talking and said, hey, why don't we just do a little Hunter Brothers version of it? So
and we've been wanting to do something.
and I mean, we had done the one Beaver one that didn't do as well, But no, we had done a few of them, and Dan and Shay is just a group we've always enjoyed. They just we like their vibe, so it just felt like a good fit, and that song was just. It worked from a harmony standpoint to do it a cappella, and so.
Is that why you're growing the Shay hair or the Dan hair currently? You're like, well, that looks. He's got the sweet long curls. Maybe I should get the sweet long curls.
You should.
Well, I'm actually just going back to my hockey days. This is about my so I figured until I'm gonna do it before I lose it. So
hey. That's awkward. That's
Next question.
So I was talking to Dan and Shay about that song, and we had a really great conversation. And one of the things I asked them, we do a feature here on Barn 49, and it's called Your First Time on the Radio. And they give this really cool response of running out to the Jeep at 6 a.m. in the morning. It was being played on a morning show, pounding it in this crappy old Jeep on the old speakers, hugging each other tight. Do you guys remember when you first heard the Hunter Brothers over the radio?
Yeah, I was at the airport at the time, and it was on I think a group chat that came out, and I went running out to CGSN 1490 and on my truck there and turned it on, and El Dorado was playing, and that was a pretty special moment for me. I remember really clearly.
Yeah, I was just driving on the back roads when I got the text. I was, I believe, in the grandpa's silver Dodge there, I think, is the truck I was in.
Yeah. I think everybody was in different places because then the conversation quickly circulated. There's been a few of those moments where we've been in different spots, but everybody's had their own experience. I remember even the first time when we were nominated for the Junos in Mexico, we were all in different places, but then we came together and had a big old celebration. So that's usually kind of how things can happen that way.
Okay, so the group chat pops off. El Dorado plays on the radio for the first time. Did you get together after that? And what was the conversation? What was the celebration when you guys actually got together to celebrate in that moment?
I think it was more, in the group chat, we were all excited. Yeah.
I think what's so cool about it is that still to this day, it doesn't matter whether we're on the combines or machinery or wherever, if we're in a place where we know we can turn our local radio station on, we still will message each other and say, hey, Hard Dirt's on the radio or Born and Raised is on the radio, and everyone's, turn on the dial. Yeah. And it's still, even to this day, it's for me personally, I know it's as cool hearing it now as it was almost the first time. It doesn't really get old. It's pretty special.
Yeah, and to add to that, Greg, I think something for us is that we grew up on the farm, riding our tractors, going up and down the field, listening to our local country station. I mean, that's all we had on the radio. We had one country station.
That's all we have.
Yeah, and we grew up listening to all these people that we admired and idolized. The Alabamas for me, and the Blackhawks, and then the Paul Brants and all these guys that we just loved listening to their music. And for all those years, and now this spring we'll jump back on our tractors. We'll be out on those same fields. listening to the same radio station, and all of a sudden one of our songs comes on in the mix of all these great artists, including the ones that we used to listen to. And it's just always that surreal moment and really kind of gratitude. I think one thing that's taught us about getting to know you and getting to know the industry as a whole is that this isn't a light thing. Like, you guys have to make a lot of hard decisions. What are you going to put on the airwaves? I mean, you got so much great music coming at you. And so to know that there are decisions being made by people like yourself that are saying, yeah, we're going to take the Hunter Brothers song and put it on the radio, that's an enormous honor. And one that I don't think, although we were amazed the first time we heard it, we didn't understand the magnitude of what was happening when those decisions were being made. And so their gratefulness towards you and the industry and everybody that's believed in it has just kind of continued to increase. I think that's why it continues to just be so kind of inspiring and exciting for us.
It's adorable that you think I have any power. I think that that's so sweet. But they give this idiot any say in what happens. No, I just get to turn on a microphone and use my voice to do anything. I have no say. But yes, I like when I get to play you guys. I just don't get to say when I do it. Like, they give this dummy any power.
One of the places that we do oftentimes celebrate, though, is at mom and dad's, like at the farmhouse. That just in my mind is kind of ingrained as the place that we do go to if there's anything that happens to any, you know, that's exciting for anyone, or there's any magnitude to it, we'll gather together there in the mornings and just talk about it. And so that's kind of the form of the celebrations, you know, that happen as we come together. Like, did you hear it? You know, and that's just been such a cool place for us, is because mom and dad are still part of the conversation then, you know, and we have so much. We're so grateful to them because we wouldn't be doing it without their influence. So I love that that's the spot.
Two things on this. One, on that old radio station that you still listen to, because I worked in a small town station. Did you guys was there a version of like Tradio where it was just live radio and people would call me like, I got some old barn cats that are free. Here's my
1000%. It's called the Trading Post.
That's what I did. Yes.
Yeah. And the best is when you're sitting in your implement and all of a sudden your dad comes on and he's like, yeah, I have this auger. And then they're asking, well, do you have any specifications? Well, I think it's, you know, from, you know, it's like sitting somewhere in a barn or an obscure place, and they're immediately in like, yeah. Anyway.
Well, then without fail, it's I'm sorry, sir, you're gonna have to turn off your tractor. I can't hear you.
Always.
Yeah. Well, and then
there's two.
Oh, sorry, Greg. I love in a small town because they're not saying their names usually, except for you get an old guy every once in a while that says, "Hey, this is Bill," you know. But other than that, like, they say their number, their telephone number, and it's like, because it's such a small community, it's like trying to figure out who that is. Like, number, looking in your phone,
that's
like,
Kenny B.
Yep, I knew it was him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's trying to sell that old broken tractor again. It's not working, bud. We know it's working.
We know it doesn't work.
Yeah. We know it.
Or you're sitting and you're listening and you hear that. Can you hear me? Is this thing on? You know, like the progressive, like, conversation. Anyway, there's lots of stories.
Live radio. And my buddy pranked me one time from Calgary. He called in and he tried to sell me my own car. He's like, I have a 99 Civic. It's green with a beer tap shifter. And I was like, wait a second. That's my car.
Greg, did you buy it again?
No, I didn't want it ever again. I didn't even want it when I was driving it. I was like, I
Hey, did you have the guy that would call in every day or every couple of days?
100%. And the best one was, there was a lady, she's like, I have 27 old jam jars, but they have no lids. And I was like, this can't be what radio is. I don't, there has to be something better to what I'm trying to do than this open phone line selling barn cats and jam jars. But it was fun. The only problem was when nobody would call in, you'd be like, so it's okay. Enough about my radio experience. The new song, Been a Minute, is that it?
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody let me listen to it, so tell me all about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, you know, we came off of Hard Dirt, being a track that was had a lot of sentiment to it. And this next chapter, we really wanted to have something that was fun, energetic, led us into the springtime, the summertime. So it's 2.5 minutes of fun, energy, up tempo, Hunter Brothers classic kind of sound. But it you know, is a phrase that's used in so many parts of the world. You'll go and have a conversation with somebody and they'll say, it's been a minute since you know, I saw you, or and we just were talking as brothers. Yeah, that's right. And just talking as brothers, we said, you know, that phrase has more relevance right now than almost never before, because it truly has been a minute since, you know, we've had live music, since we've seen, you know, a lot of the people and familiar faces that we've missed, since we've been able to do a lot of the things that we're passionate about. And so hopefully it's a simple message that resonates with everybody, but also just is a lot of energy and a lot of fun.
So it's one of those things, and is it a story song about those things that it's been a minute since you've been able to do?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah. I mean, it's just, it holds relevance, you know, nowadays more than ever. But I mean, it's just even the simple things of like, it's been a minute since, you know, we just went down this gravel road and just kind of, you know, like it's there's a line that says, let the blacktop turn to gravel, let the day turn into night. And it's just kind of that nostalgia that comes even with your person, where you're like, hey, let's go driving and let's just hang out. You know, it's been a minute since we've done that. It's been a minute since we, whatever, you know, put yourself in whatever that is that takes you to kind of that place of nostalgia. And so that's really what hopefully the song encapsulated.
See, the whole time thing makes me think of my buddy saying, I'll be there in a minute, and then he'd be there 20 minutes later. So I want everybody to really think about this. Who is most likely to, who's the late person in the Hunter Brothers? Point.
Well, JJ's the most to get us into that position, because he can talk a long time. But it's hard to be mad at him because he's so nice and he's doing it out of the genuineness of his heart. So
oh yeah, he's totally talking to someone about their life story for like 3 hours, and then you're like, JJ, we gotta go, but I don't really want to interrupt you right now, so because this person's pouring their heart out like never before. And anyway,
that's a great story, and I know it's gonna finish, but I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
I love that it's a little bit nostalgic. We're talking on the show today, actually, so I want to bring you into this, and we'll go around the room. What is the one candy that brings you back to childhood? Like for me, it's So Delicious.
Fun Dips.
Ooh,
Dinosaurs.
Yes.
Those strawberry like sour straws. They've got to be a certain,
with like the little.
Like most of the kinds now, they don't taste the same way. Yeah.
They got the little white in the middle. Those sour straws.
No. They're actually like hollow. And they're like strawberry flavor with the sugar on the outside. Yeah.
The double bubble gum.
Yeah. And for me, the Frosty treat here in town, they used to sell these cinnamon flavored toothpicks. Do you remember that? That was a rage for a while. And then the Popeye, the little Popeye cigarette pack.
You are old.
They were a rage for a long time, the cinnamon flavored toothpicks.
Sounds fun.
I remember the Popeye smokes, and I remember the giant black licorice pipe one too. There was both of those that were in the candy store.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'd stand outside at like 6 years old doing this.
Yeah. Did you ever have an ooze tube?
Like, those always seemed too weird to me.
Yeah, they showed up in our stockings every year, and it's like, yeah, it is one of those things where you're like, do I eat this? It's like, you know, sucking on a bottle of hair gel. Like, but anyway,
it tastes good.
They do taste good.
The best party I ever went to in high school was when, because we were talking Fun Dips, there was for some reason like an industrial size box full of old Fun Dips, and so I took about half the box, and I had that in my green '99 Civic that was on the trading post for about 2 years. And everybody would just pop into my car like, you want a Fun Dip? All right.
The temptation was always like not to eat the stick before the end of the bag though, because the stick was so good, but it was like, like you got to make it to the end, you know? Or I guess you could.
Well, the gross kids would just use their finger only, right? And they would just have like the blue or red finger. And like,
yeah.
Do you want some of this? I'm like, nah, I'm probably good. Thanks though.
What was your favorite flavor out of the three though?
The Fun Dip?
Yeah.
They all tasted just like pure sugar. I don't know if there was.
They're just colors. They all taste the same.
I will tell you, So Delicious though, either the grape or the little tiny root beer. Those are the best two flavors.
Oh yeah, so good.
So delicious.
So
Yeah, I thought about those for a while.
Nickel Nips. Remember those?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Excuse me? Exactly. Move on. Anyway, yeah. Nickel nips. You guys never had
Nickel
those?
nips? Tell
Yeah.
me about those.
Like they're little wax bottles that have a little bit of flavor inside, and you had to actually pull the wax off the top of the bottle, and then like it. Yeah. No. Okay. Nobody's tracking. Okay. All right.
I think I do know what you're talking
Well, that's good. That makes me feel better.
about. I didn't know.
Yeah,
it was
what-
nickel nips, so.
When I come to do the hometown tour, we'll go find some nickel nips.
You know what? We don't have to go far. I know where we could get them. Snack Shack, man.
Couple more things I need from you guys. You were talking about celebrating at mom and dad's house, and we're having a little one call debate on the show that I need you to be a part of. Would you rather have for your birthday or a big celebration a homemade cake or pie or a store-bought cake or pie?
Who's making it?
Is it a DQ cake?
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want. It's like the best homemade one you've ever had or the best store-made. What would you rather have?
Yeah.
I think
Probably homemade.
Yeah, probably homemade.
Yeah.
typically I would say homemade, but I do really like DQ cakes. So,
Yeah.
Now, how about you?
Well, this isn't about me. Nobody's watching this for Gregg Reynolds.
I am.
yeah.
No, but truth be told, so my co-host, her husband's birthday is tomorrow, and she's calling around like, I got to find the best lemon meringue pie. And I'm like, make it. It's going to mean a lot more when you make it, because during quarantine, I've become a baker.
Okay, so here's the other thing is our mom has taken on the responsibility of baking cakes for all of our kids at their birthday celebrations. So from that standpoint, I absolutely say one of Mama Norma's cakes, because you never know what's going to happen. The kid will say like, hey, Elsa, that's what I want. And mom will have like pieces of glass like that's edible on these cakes. Like it's actually quite phenomenal. And so yeah, I would say homemade for the kiddos. Like that's been spectacular to watch.
The presentation of it is half the fun.
Speaking of baking, I just got into the Canadian Bake Show.
It's so good.
Right. Thank you. I never do this, Greg. I never do this where I'm binging on Netflix. And I kid you not, the other day I was watching a baking show and Lizzie comes in. She's like, what are you watching? I'm like, the Great Canadian Bake Show. And I just kept watching next episode. She goes to bed and she's like, you never do this. It's a bake show. And I love
They're
it.
making a Jacon sponge. I can't go to bed. I don't know how this
Right. I'm so glad you feel me on that. I was like, this is the best discovery of COVID. So
I'm glad you led me into TV shows. This is how we're going to finish today. JJ, we'll start with you. We're doing a March Madness bracket about the greatest of all time TV show. JJ, what, in your opinion, hands down is the greatest of all time show?
Greatest of all time TV show? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm not the best one to ask. I know which one isn't.
What?
That'll be next year, the worst of all time. Yeah.
let's start with Brock.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I'm
have
gonna
some of the same ones here.
I'm gonna have to go with Breaking Bad. That one, everything like the way they filmed the first season that represents, and even the color palette that they used represents how daunting
Lens or whatever.
Yeah, and how daunting his life was and how daunting it all is. Even just like slow pan shots of the desert for 15 seconds that you go, why is that in there? But it created a mood. It was done so well and so real. I also, for a fun family show, probably Friday Night Lights. I loved Friday Night Lights. So that
Full Hearts Can't Lose. So good.
Can't Lose. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so probably those two for me. I also love This Is Us. Sorry. You guys.
This isn't just name all the shows you like. This is what is the greatest of all time. Okay, Luke?
I'm right now, we're my wife and I are binging on Yellowstone. I don't know, it's phenomenal.
It's so good.
We love it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with Yellowstone's, by the way, already into the second round, so people agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Best of all time, man. I actually thoroughly enjoyed. I know it's just short, but the Queens Gambit I thought was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
the artistic representation in that show is phenomenal. I don't think I've ever watched something where I've been so taken by the characters and by how they filmed something. And then finding out the statistics after how long it took them to actually
So cool.
that, hearing that made it all the better for me. So it kind of came full circle. So
Well,
that's
and how like the people that are like master chess players actually don't have an issue with it. That's
Yeah.
what I found interesting too.
yeah.
Is that
That's what you love, right?
Yeah, they were like, no, that legit is
Yeah.
really well done.
Yeah, it's an indication that a show was done really well. So that was the first one that sprung into my mind, just probably because it's fresh.
Well, just
But you're right. The whole circle of adversity, being told nobody will ever watch a show about chess, 30 years later being the number one show on Netflix, just keeping at something is such a cool message to learn from that whole show, right? So
Totally, and that's what when everybody was like, "Oh, it's about chess," and it's like, okay, but then when you watch it, you're like, it's not just about chess, but it really represented that community well. So to bring everybody into a circle, like there isn't somebody that I've talked to that hasn't at least enjoyed it, maybe to different degrees, but I think it speaks to the quality.
JJ, should we skip you again, or can we?
Well, the problem is like literally every show that they mentioned, I haven't seen any of them, so I'm really terrible to watch. That's wrong. I saw a little bit of This Is Us, but
He likes the
watched the Flintstones. I remember that as a kid. No, I did watch a short. Christina and I, my wife and I, watched The English Game, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that. It was. It's not a long series. I forget. It's 7 episodes or something, and it was really good.
Can you tell me what you were thinking of with the worst? Because you seem to hate something.
Oh, the first ever series that we watched was Lost, and the first beginning of that season was awesome. And then I just wasted a bunch of my life watching that. Anyway, sorry to whoever loves Lost.
No, what did we say?
Don't apologize.
Yeah,
It's the only TV show in the world that its title describes the
Yeah.
feeling when you're done,
yeah.
because you're completely lost.
Yeah, I hear there's a terrible song at country radio also that has that title. It's pretty bad.
We don't play it anymore just because of that series. Yeah.
Nice.
Terrible title.
Good job.
Yikes.
All right. Last but not least, best TV show of all time.
Yeah. I would have said Breaking
4
Bad.
minutes to think of this.
No. But he took my favorite. See, Breaking Bad, I thought he might do that. So, and he actually introduced it to me, so that's fair that he got to go first. So Breaking Bad probably would be my first. I don't like admitting that I liked elements and certain seasons, which I probably were the most enjoyable television I've ever watched of GOT. Although I don't really recommend that show, especially to younger audiences. There were episodes in that I was like, that is probably the best hour of television I think I've ever seen. I've never been more engaged, which is I think why there was such the uproar at the end, the way it ended, because it felt like it got rushed, which was really disappointing. There again, kind of feeling like you had all these years of watching and people were so excited, and then kind of just. It probably, in fairness, the end was better than what people are saying it was. I think it was just because the early part was so good. People were so invested that they got so angry, and they were rating it 0 or 1 out of 10. And I'm like, it wasn't the best episode I ever watched, but there's no way in any other instance you rate that episode 1 out of 10. It was still good. It was still good, but it just
Plus, you look like Jon Snow, so it's all sort of full circle on that one.
Yeah, he got a lot of comments on the Sea Shanty video about that one. Jon Snow's playing the
Jon
drums.
Snow, the professional barrel. Yeah. I was gonna say something else. I would have thought over it.
Boys, I can't wait to spin the new one. I absolutely look forward to chatting with you guys. It's so much fun for me. Thank you for taking the time, and hopefully we'll get to see each other face to face and give big hugs soon, okay?
Thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate you. Miss you.
Miss you guys. Bye.